Well, good morning, everyone. I'm Jan Erickson from Stepping Aside, and welcome to Somewhat Daily Tarot and Rune for the 25th day of November, 2019. Well, it's Thanksgiving week. Hope everybody got their turkey. We got a 21 pounder, I think, for just the two of us, so leftovers. We like to buy a bigger turkey, though, because we like to portion it out, for meals for the next few months because, you get sick of turkey just to sit and eat it. Plus, we eat gluten-free, so some of the cool things, like potato rolls and things like that, we don't get to have anymore, so because it's got gluten in it. If I could find a gluten-free variety, I would, but I've never found one, so I don't know. I'll have to learn how to make one or something. But anyhow, let's talk about some astrology here for today a little bit. I'll tell you correspondences are not up yet. I'll do those here in a little bit for today if you're working magic today. One thing I wanted to say too, the weekly Rune and Moon is up. That's definitely up. And yesterday, if you want to go and look, there's a couple of posts. It's part 1 and part 2 of a discussion on the Kabbalion. So if you're interested in that, that's up on the YouTube channel. I'm going to try to figure out how to do playlists and have these videos on one and the others in another so that they're delineated, because I'm going to do more of stuff like that. I also had said earlier that I might do some things on herbs as well. So I want to have a couple different sections on this, and that way people can find stuff easier. So there might also be just another section like on empaths and things like that. So I don't know, but we'll see. I had said that this next year we were going to maybe do things a little bit differently here and just expand somewhat. So anyhow, hopefully that will take place sooner than later if I could get my act together here and figure out how to do that, get those sections going. As soon as I do that, then I'll feel a little more comfortable about what I'm doing. But otherwise, I don't know that people will find them. So anyhow, well, there goes a card. If this is your first time here, okay, I always show the ones I drop. Keep that in mind, the Six of Wands, support from others. So that actually seems to be prescient, because that you're going to find that out in the astrology here. So let me do that really quick. But again, if this is your first time here, welcome, and click subscribe. I'd love you to do that. If you come back, hello, hello. Anyhow, we have a 7-day today, so magic and balance and all of that. The transits here, though, were done at 9:38 this morning, so about 20 minutes ago. We're looking at the sun in the 11th house in Sagittarius, and here's where the Six of Wands comes in. You're going to want to take a look at your goals and values, possibly seeking counsel from friends. You want to avoid some impulsive action today. There's an inconjunct between the sun and Uranus. But a trine with Chiron suggests healing on all fronts. So that also may factor in on the whole idea of the Six of Wands that I just dropped. The moon in Scorpio in the 10th house, the intuition's strong today. This also relates to Jupiter and some other stuff here and the support from friends. Your career also may take you may take a more public role in your career. Maybe that has to do with some advancement or something. Maybe you get a supervisory role, or you might be the spokesman for your company. But there may be some kind of public role that comes up today. A sextile with Pluto, between Pluto and the moon, emotions are high, but it's also a moment for honesty, both within and without. And although you're going to do fine accepting whatever your truth happens to be, others may not. And so, you're just going to have to roll with that if that happens, if you're honest and people don't appreciate it. So, but you have to be honest. So you have to be true to yourself. So Mercury in the 10th house in Scorpio, again, career is in focus, intense communications with Scorpio. With that effect on Mercury, so intensity rises. But you also have, again, a career issue today where you might experience advancement to a supervisory role. Semi-square with Jupiter, though, your ideas may be challenged. That might also relate to the sextile with Pluto, where emotions come up and you have to be honest. but you also may need to reassess letting go of what no longer serves with that semi-square with between Mercury and Jupiter. Venus and Sagittarius in the 12th house. Contemplation is favored today, but there's also a conjunction with Jupiter. And so you might be tempted to express yourself, and today is considered quite lucky. So again, that Six of Wands that I dropped on the floor, support from others, that just reinforces this. A square with Chiron, though, is also sort of aligning with that sextile with Pluto a little bit, because there could be misunderstandings with others, but you should remain open if you let, the sextile with Pluto and all that sort of influence as well. Remain open, and things should plus we've got healing and all of that with Jupiter. So I think that things should probably just sort of settle out on that front. If something like that were to happen, I think you'll resolve it quite quickly. Again, Mars in Scorpio, 10th house again, career focus with, again, possible changes ahead in your position, possibly. Let's see. Oh yeah, Jupiter and Sagittarius in the 12th house. That one suggests behind the scenes support for success. So there again, I dropped that 6 of Wands on the floor, reinforcing that. So, keep that in mind. No matter what comes out here today, just keep that in mind. Saturn and Capricorn in the 1st house. Saturn is one of those planets that wants us to take a look at things. It wants us to slow down and pay attention and restructure if necessary. And in the 1st house, that's what we're going to do. We're going to reevaluate the structure of our life today, values, responsibilities. We could reap the benefit of hard work. Again, there could be an advancement in career today, but you also might feel a little overwhelmed with all of it. But again, you might receive attention for your work now. So this just could be a day where some things start happening. You just don't know. Being a 7 energy, you're going to bring things into balance, and the sky is the limit, evidently, with Jupiter's influence here today. So anyhow, let's go ahead and get started. We'll take our first 3 cards and see if the reading, helps us out with that a little bit, or if it's just going to give us something new. And I'm going to get my fan handy because I'm feeling a little warm. Anyway, well, it's early. Lots more time for more hot flashes throughout the day. And again, I take the 13th card. If you haven't been here before, I take the 13th card each time for randomness sake. Well, we start out, we haven't had this one in a while. We have a drama triangle, a 3 of Swords. So maybe on the career front today, there might be a little bit of upset. We talked about that a little bit with... which one was it? Oh, a square with Chiron. So we'll see. Oh, well, we have the Sun. We're going to put him in the middle. We have the 19th card of the Major Arcana. So you're talking to 1 energies and new beginnings. Things coming to fruition. Again, we have the possibility of career advancement today, so that could be the new beginnings. The Ace of Cups. Yeah, we're definitely going to do this way. We'll leave the order the way that it is. You can do that. You can move your cards around. It's your reading, so even in situations where you're using a particular spread, you can always move that around and make it make sense to you. That's particularly true if you're talking about court cards, because a lot of the time they'll talk to one another. It's also true of the Major Arcana where they'll talk to one another. But if you've got a conversation going between a king and a queen, or a king and the page and the knight, or something like that, sometimes it's nice to just listen to what they have to say. So let's go ahead and we'll start out with the Sun as significator, so new beginnings. We're talking about happiness and fulfillment. It focuses on the self. It's about clarity, success, reunion, the light returning, awakening. We see a large sun above. Its rays emanating all over the place there. We see a flag, an orangish colored flag. denoting success. Also vitality with the sunflowers behind the stone wall. There may have been challenges, but the lights returned, and we're doing quite well today. Again, aligning really well with today's astrological stuff. I don't know. It's always fun when that happens. We see some purity there with the nude child and the cherubic child, and the denoting something brand new is on the horizon. The white horse is a symbol of purity. It also denotes rito, or rhythmic motion, or harmonious movement with others. So there's some unity involved here. But perhaps we've been experiencing a drama triangle as well. Now, what we could do, we could put the sun at the very end as the result of everything that's happened, but you'll see what I'm saying here in a moment when we look at the Ace of Cups and we interpret that. But here we have the clouds behind, we have swords. Swords is the air element, piercing a heart. You see one out in front of the other two. So this generally indicates a drama triangle with two doing something nefarious behind the backs of the one, right? So instead of mind, body, spirit being in balance, we don't have a lot of balance here today. There's conflict, there's betrayal. Maybe we've been lied to. That's typically what happens in a situation like that. There's a lot of deception, a lot of subterfuge. But here, we have the Ace of Cups. We see a hand reaching out from a cloud, so the hand from the unknown, so hand of spirit, coming out and holding a large chalice, a golden chalice, in its receptive hand, because that's the left hand, isn't it? So the goddess. We see the dove of peace dropping a disc with a cross in the center of it. Now the cross, he's dropping it into the water, and the waters are overflowing, and we see 5 streams, don't we? So pentagram is listed there, basically, is signified there. So protection. But the cross in the center is interesting, because the cross in the center denotes balance on both the vertical plane and the horizontal plane, with us in the center. It's not a religious symbol in that respect, although it can be. But typically we're talking about emotions in balance, both informed by spirit, having spirit be the dominant force there. I did a video, 2 videos yesterday, and posted them, and it was on the Kabbalion. And again, I'm going to start doing that. But doing more of things like that and having a separate section. But one of the things that it talks about is the idea that when you're talking about polarity, you're talking about the negative pole bending toward the positive. Basically, the positive aspect of self carries a far heavier weight than the lower side of self, or the negative side of self. And so life is always going to bend toward love and toward truth and toward the all, and returning to the all, and that whole progression spiritward. What I think that we're seeing here with this particular reading is that you can see where, with truth, deception is negated, it's transmuted, it's the light is brought into play, and clarity returns. 11 is a master number for illumination and clarity. But from a soul level, right? It's a master number, and 11 is that month, or 11 is that November is the 11th month. And so basically what we're talking about is we're talking a month where illumination happens. I mean, it's I suppose, you can think Thanksgiving and look at all the stuff that comes out on Thanksgiving if family gets together, but, maybe that's not so fun. But the point is November is a month for illumination and awareness. And so what we have here with the sun, despite our challenges, everything bends toward love and toward unity and compassion and wholeness. The hand of the goddess comes into play. Instead of the masculine right hand, that side of that polarity, that projective side of self, we have the goddess side of self, the passive, the earth side, the water side of self, the emotional side of self, the compassion and intuitive side of self that actually comes into play and brings the truth for today to us, brings the awakening, if you will. Or after realization here of what happened, awakening happens, and a new sense of compassion emerges. Now, again, this can be what's going on in your personal life. You know, you could be experiencing a drama triangle that's some behind the scene things that maybe, people are getting in your way, people are talking about you, people are trying to damage your reputation maybe. We saw a lot of that over the last couple of weeks in Congress where, one branch, one side of the aisle decides that they're going to demean the witnesses that came forward. I guess everyone's lying, according to them. No, they're not, but whatever. Live in your dream world. It won't last, but whatever. And you could look at it that way with after what we learned and all of the nonsense that went on, we gained some clarity the last couple of weeks, didn't we? And we're going to get a rune out here. We gained some clarity, and now we maybe have a little different perspective. Maybe compassion is returned. Maybe, we're just trying to maybe see things differently. The emotional state that we've been in, the worry we've been in, maybe we've had enough clarity now that we can understand that we're not each other's enemy, that actually it's the guy in the Oval Office, or if in your personal life there's likely, one outlier that's causing all of the drama in your life, and you just need to deal with that one outlier, and maybe a lot of that will settle down and things will start to move forward again for you. So if that's happening to you, think about that. Is there something that's preventing your way forward? Is it you? Are you the outlier preventing your way forward? Or is it somebody else? Because the Three of Swords would suggest that there's something else going on here. So be sure before you blame yourself, always look inward first, always, you don't ever want to be in the habit of just blaming someone else automatically, unless it's glaringly obvious that it's somebody else's doing, right? Unless it's clear, then you do want to look inward. And even with that, you want to look inward and see, well, what did you do to help, keep it going? Or maybe, I don't know. Or could you have responded differently? I'm not sure. But the point is that it feels like whatever this is, there's an outlier causing it. Okay. Even though you may have some reevaluation to do, and clearly we're doing that with the Ace of Cups, so that, but something has happened and clarity has returned. You've begun to understand what's really going on here. And now you're ready to just go forward in with a different frame of mind here, a different emotional state. You know a little more, you're a little more certain, and now you're willing to maybe offer compassion to people and understanding that maybe and that's for both sides of the equation too. If you've been in the right and people are trying to, be a little more humble about everything, well, you need to let them do that, okay? Because if you don't drop that resistance, your own resistance, then you're never going to solve whatever problem is going on in your life right now. Astrologically, it looks like a career focus, so likely this is happening at work for you. And so if that's the case, because we can get a direction again, that's why I'm doing the astrology these days. I wasn't doing it originally, but I don't know. Just one day I started looking at stuff ahead of time for the correspondences, and I'm thinking, boy, I should talk about this today. This is interesting. And then one day we had a yod and I did a 3-card reading and it just fit the yod. It was weird. And so I just took it as a sign to say, okay, maybe we need to incorporate some astrology in the reading. And I think it's worked out pretty well. Well, of course, we talked about the rhythmic motion, right? And Rado and the harmony, with others. So, so anyhow, then of course we pull Rado, and let's see. I don't know why that came up. Let's take that out of there. I hate it when things pop up on my screen. But Rado is the fifth root of the Elder Futhark, and we're talking again about rhythmic motion. We talked about that. I talked about that with the sun, with the little boy on the horse. You didn't get there alone, is what the sun is trying to suggest here with that reciprocity. There was some reciprocity, either with between just you and maybe customers, or you and other coworkers, or you and your family, or whatever success you're having today, whatever enlightenment you might be having today, whatever way forward you're beginning today, came as a result of rhythmic motion with others and harmony with others. The harmony, of course, has been challenged, right? But we have awakening now, and a new understanding has come about to where we can then go forward in rhythmic harmony with other people. It also reflects the soul journey, which should tell you right there that we aren't supposed to be doing this alone. You know, when we come into form, you know, we make the decision to be either service to self or service to others. And the problem with doing service to self is you tend to take a solitary approach to things. Now, does that mean that you're a malignant narcissist like someone else we all know? Maybe. It could present that way. The going it alone attitude is sometimes what you have. In other words, you have to possess the ability to do that if necessary, and being service to others does not preclude that. All right. If you need to, you have to take care of your own self. You have to take care of your own needs ultimately, right? You can't always give it away to others. But the point is that with service to others, at least you know that there's more than just you in this world, and that your participation within the collective is important. But let's do well, I caught that with my knee. Let's do the geomancy rune and see what it has to say. And what did I do with there it is. I moved everything around to do the videos this weekend, so I don't know where anything is. Where is the fire? That one's earth. Oh, is that fire? Yeah. So we have, it's not Albus, I think it's Rubeus, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, okay. Now Rubeus, as I've told you in the past, Carcer, Rubeus, and Cata Draconis are considered evil. I don't consider them evil. I consider them to be maybe past influences, maybe, or karmic influences. I also consider them to be a negative or a loss of something. Rubeus, though, is about passions maybe getting away from us. Maybe a lack of impulse control. There was something here, an inconjunct between Uranus and the Sun. We were told to avoid, it was suggested to avoid impulsive action. So impulsivity can negatively affect all kinds of things. Impulsivity is likely what led to this. So I think what the geomancy rune is telling us today, Rubeus, is that there were some passions that got away from some people. And maybe some things happened that did not reflect the truth. Maybe they responded in ways that did not reflect the truth. Again, this can be what's happening collectively, or this could be happening in your personal life. This is one of these dual readings today. Passions got high, they got out of control, things were said, conflict happened, hearts were broken, separation occurred. But we had some information come out. We now know the truth about things, and we can come back into harmony with everyone else. Express Rito in our lives, understand the soul perspective that's involved here. I must be hitting something because a window's coming up. I don't know. Understand the soul perspective here, that this is part of the soul's journey, but that life bends toward love. All right? Life bends toward the collective, toward the collective harmony between all of us. I know it seems to be lacking, but it's really there. From a soul perspective, we're still one. So no matter what, things have been, no matter how things might look, we'll say. So I'm going to draw this out here for you. Usually I do this as I go, but I'm going to do it this way this time. Rado, we have Lagus, flow, flowing in harmony. We have Kenaz, turning the light inward and outward, the light of source presence, the light of the creator. We have Isa, 11th rune of the Elder Futhark, and Norn rune, the Norn rune of the present moment. And we have Vunyo, joy and fellowship. So you can see the energies that go into creating Rito. And this really is about expressing ourselves in compassion and love with one another now. We've learned enough. We've learned enough. We know what the truth is. And now it's time to just come back into harmony and to let go of that which no longer serves, let go of the conflict, let go of the division between us all. But in geomancy, we're talking about a four-level glyph. The top one is fire, the next is air, that's water, that's earth. And so we've got passive influences for everything other than air, and that's why Rubius can be problematic. Because this happens, right? Creating this. Your mouth runs away from you. Passions get high, things get said. Pretty soon, everybody's at each other's throats. We end up with a lot of nonsense going on, but we get some facts, some clarity that come into play, and we're able to put it all aside and move on together in harmony. So good reading for a Monday. Anyway, I guess that'd be it then. We'll meet again tomorrow. I think this week we just won't do Thursday. Okay, we'll just do this Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And then I don't know if I'll do another video thing on the weekend. I likely will. I'll just see what I can come up with. I may do something on elements. Maybe that's what I'll do. Or maybe I'll do it on the 7 cosmic rays. That'd be cool, because that would really that would almost be the next step from the Kabbalion videos I did this weekend. So check those out if you want, if you're interested in that. They're the 7 hermetic principles that govern all of life, basically. So you might find that interesting. I did it kind of from a magic perspective, so see what you think there. Witches tend to align with the Kabbalions, so in terms of their magical philosophy. So anyhow, check that out if you want. There's 2 of them. The first one's, I think, about 20 minutes long. The second one's about an hour. And I think it went really well, and see what you think, and hopefully, leave some comments or questions if you have any, or if you want to add something to the whole conversation. I'm calling this other new series thing a discussion of esoteric thought or what have you. And so that's what it means. It's like this, it's a discussion. So feel free to leave comments and ideas and your own interpretations and all of that. And that's really cool when that happens. So I really appreciate that. So anyway, again, click subscribe here if you haven't. Check out my blog if you haven't done that yet. It's over at imsteppingaside.com. It's called Stepping Aside. And I guess we'll see you tomorrow. Thanks again for coming by. Be good to yourself. Be good to one another. And blessed be.